Hello, hello. Today is the last day of the SRH First Annual Spiritual Summit. It is Sunday, May 18th of 2025. Hi, everybody. I know that this has been a long weekend for those of you that have been here all 3 days. I know you're tired. I know I've been pushing you around. I know you've been using your gifts in all different ways, but you're doing great. And I'm proud of you for investing in yourself. I am. Today, we have our dear Felisha from the Void, who's going to be discussing living your life purpose with spirit, really adding that significance, that drive, that direction, that destination with your spiritual gifts. Felisha is phenomenal. I absolutely adore her. She is up and coming as one of the teachers in my school as well. And she does a class every once in a while where she teaches this individually for smaller groups of people, plus her own business that she is growing too. So I hope you enjoy her as much as I do. Thank you so much, Felisha. It's all you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Andrea. I do really appreciate it. And just, as she said, I've been working with Andrea now we're coming up on 3 years now. So it's been a minute. And it all started with the Give Focus session. So when I say that it's life-changing, I'm not joking, right? Because that's where it all started for me. So since then, I've done all levels of the school and become certified to teach with Andrea, but then also offer the Give Focus session. So it's been an awesome ride and it's truly an honor. So thank you, Andrea. Um, that being said, let's get into it. So let me just kind of get everything set up. Okay, perfect. Can everyone see my PowerPoint? Perfect. Okay, great. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can see the chat, or raise your hand and then I'll try to get you there too. So to start off, this class is to help you find your focus and becoming the person you want to be and living the life you envision for yourself. I think we can all relate with the notion that finding your life purpose should be this grandiose type of angels coming down from the heavens, it opening up, them singing, ah, and then you're gifted your life purpose, right? And I think we all know that it's not really like that, right? So that's not to say that we don't have a special role to play in this life, but more just bringing into perspective that moment of realization is made up of smaller moments, backed by decision, confirmed through self and spirit, and driven by purpose and action. My hope is to provide you with actionable steps that you can implement into your everyday and give you a place to begin the journey of self discovery or further guidance on your already self discovered path. So just make sure that you have a notebook and pen handy because we will be going into doing some like self reflection and stuff. So you'll want to be able to write it down. Okay, conceptualizing yourself. It all starts with, you guessed it, you. So who are you? What's the story you tell about yourself? Who do you say you're going to be? I know we have all heard it before, but it's because the truth in it. We are who we say we are, whether we say it out loud or to ourselves when we are alone. Are you constantly telling yourself you're not good enough? That you suck at life, your job, parenting, or being a partner? Even the small jokes, those things count. You need to give yourself the grace that you would give to anyone else you know and love, especially when making mistakes. So, for example, by saying things like, hey, I might have screwed that up today, but I know what to do now to make sure I can do it better next time. Or saying things like, I'm knowledgeable or smart. And when I talk about kind of those jokes of like, oh man, I'm just stupid, or I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's like those are funny ha-has and whatnot, but really at the end of the day, those things do have an effect on you, even if you don't realize it. You are the creator of your reality. Your purpose or your why is the blueprint of your life. You construct, build, and choose how things flow. Without addressing how you view and think of yourself makes it very difficult to believe in being the creator of your reality, right? Before you can start to build, you have to believe you are the builder meant for the job. And you don't even have to take my word for it. You can ask spirit, and everyone could do that right now. Ask spirit, am I the creator of my reality? And what answer do you get? I'm sure everyone got a yes. Absolutely, yes, in the chat. Exactly. So, and that's what I mean. You don't have to take my word for it. And these are things that you can verify with spirit as you're going through and asking them. And they will tell you, what you can do and what you can't, right? And you are the creator of your reality. And your life purpose unfolds as you realize who you are now and differentiate that from who you want to be. So, recognizing where you are now, what it took to get there, helps you begin to see the path towards where and who you want to be, right? All of these moments, all of these things that we have been through and gone through and learned, these all kind of lead up to this path of self-discovery and shows you, the direction that you're heading or where you want to go, right? So, who do you want to be? Is it a pipe dream or spiritual enlightenment? So, for example, as a pipe dream, are you wanting to be a super famous movie actor and you've never had an audition for anything in your life, right? It's probably not very plausible. More than likely, you're not going to be a super famous movie actor if that's not something that you've been working on. Compared to spiritual enlightenment, an awakening to a deeper reality within, a calling that feels truer than anything else, and a sense of connection with that. So take some time here and think about the following. If you could wave a magic wand and there were no limitations, who would you be? What would your life look like? What would your days feel like? As you're thinking about that, I want everyone here, we're going to take 10 minutes to really dive deep and write down your responses to these questions. And no, I want you guys to, when you're thinking about these things, it's not who you think you should be or because it would be the societally acceptable thing. So if, you're a parent and you feel like your path is to be the best parent ever, it shouldn't have to be, that can be a part of it, but that doesn't have to be your life purpose, right? That can just be an aspect to it. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about all these things and, where your life is right now and how you would change it or what your days would look like. And start reflecting on that and writing that down. And I'll give everyone 10 minutes. And as you guys are doing this, I just want to remind you to confirm with spirit as well, especially if you feel like you're getting hung up or if it feels like that something isn't fitting right. You can always confirm with spirit. If you have any hangups or questions, just let me know. We have a few more minutes just so everyone can start wrapping up. Okay, so hopefully everyone has had the chance to kind of put down all their thoughts. Is there anyone that wants to share and kind of talk about what they came up with for themselves and what that looks like? And if not, that's okay. Okay, Paul, here, let me get you unmuted.
Yeah, so I um wrote down for my life. I want my life to look like anything that I want to do. Um, no have tos, no musts. And if I don't want to work, don't work. If I want to work, and I want to help others in any way that fits within that ideal life plan. And I feel how the days make me feel. They make me feel happy, energized, gratitude for sharing my energy and for motivating others and feeling how it's impacted their life and feeling happiness from that. And then I wrote this little thing. I am Paul Hesh. I breathe energy. I walk with fire. I am the soul who chose the hard road and made it home.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So, yeah, and I think probably a lot of us can relate, right? I definitely feel that too in my days. Like I wrote down and every time I do this exercise, I write down and kind of see what I comes up for me essentially. And that's a lot of what I feel too. And when I confirm that with spirit and I ask spirit, is that possible? They tell me yes. And, that's just the first part of it, right? Is writing it down, conceptualizing it. Who do you want to be? What do you want your days to look like? And then Spirit confirms, and then now we just kind of need the actionable steps, right? How do we get there? So if Spirit says it's possible, it is, but what's next, right? So thank you for sharing. Does anyone else want to share or have any questions before we move on? Okay. Oh, perfect. Susan, I'll get Susan and then Katie.
I guess I was thinking more broad. So if I could be anybody, I would like to be a better version of myself every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what my life would look like, I kind of left it broad. So I want my life to be full and I want it to be peaceful and I want it to be quiet and I want it to always be creative.
Mm-hmm.
And then what my day would feel like, I think for me personally, is I want to feel healthy and focused and tuned, grounded, unique, whole, special, thankful, and grateful, because I do believe that thankfulness and gratefulness are different. I think one comes from your heart and one comes from your mind.
Yeah.
So I want to have that every day.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love that too. And thinking of it in a broad perspective is not wrong or bad in any way, right? It's often how it starts. Just the broad idea of like, oh, I just want to be more, free in my days. Oh, I just want to have this or that. And that is a great way to start looking at it. And you can start honing in on those things, or you can start kind of doing it in a more broader sense, like you said, Susan. Just finding gratitude or thankfulness in every day, that can be a first step, and you can find that in certain aspects of your life and start integrating that in. So I think
Well,
that's,
I felt, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I guess the reason why I feel this way is that this kind of goes with that limitless. If I say anything too specific, then I'm really putting myself in a box, and I don't want to be in a box.
Right.
So
No,
that's where the broadness comes in.
yeah. No, absolutely. And I definitely can understand that as well, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily. It's just more, how do you want to kind of incorporate that into your life, right? So if it is in a broad sense, you can definitely do that. It's all about, yeah, how you want to start integrating those things into your life. So if it isn't a specific thing that you want to do necessarily to, pigeonhole yourself, that's absolutely fine as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Katie.
It flew out pretty quickly and easily. I loved it. So I said, I would like to be a healer of energy, body, mind, heart, and soul, maybe even a therapist. I'd have my little hobby farm to grow healing plants and to be able to eat properly. My life would be fulfilling, joyful, peaceful, and filled with love. I would help so many people, and that would fill my cup while filling theirs. I would have so many conversations with my spirit team, seeing them, whether it be in my home or my garden or even the barn tending to animals. I would be busy, but I would be doing all the things that I love and want to do. I would have so many opportunities available to me that I would take the time to talk to my team about how I could best use my gifts in each opportunity presented to me. The best choices to make would be there, but I would never have a missed opportunity or any wrong choices, just experiences.
Awesome. Yes, I love that. I love that. And you can see, the difference between Katie, and she has very specific ways in how she wants that to look and feel and how she wants to achieve that. And then Susan being more broad. Both are beautiful and are achievable and are part of your life purpose, right? So it is all unique to you and how you want to feel, how you want that to look and feel like. So thank you for sharing. Anyone else or any other questions? Okay, awesome. So, what do you believe you deserve? What you believe you deserve will either help or hinder you in achieving your life purpose. Look at your inner dialogue. So, you may envision the most beautiful life for yourself, but you will ultimately not be able to achieve your dream if you are consistently speaking negatively about yourself. If you doubt your worthiness, if you don't believe you are good enough, if you don't believe that you deserve, period, right? And I think a lot of us can struggle with this at times, and a lot of this can come from either past experiences or childhood. And that is why it's just so imperative to be checking in with yourself and your ego, which we will touch on the ego more later. And, Andrea talked about it yesterday, but we'll go into it a little bit more again today. So then that kind of, we start looking at that and boundaries and standards. What boundaries and standards are you setting with yourself? How about with others? Standards are what you create for yourself, like self-care routines or hygiene standards. You cannot hold others to a standard, but that is what boundaries are for, okay? So it's very important to understand the difference there. You create boundaries as you interact with others on what you are or are not willing to accept from others. So, for example, do you let people talk down to you yet never stand up for yourself? Keep in mind, while it is impossible to prevent someone from, at some point, talking down to you, you can set the boundary to ensure people understand that that might be the first time, but it's certainly going to be the last, right? So whether that boundary looks like standing up for yourself and calling them out, walking away, cutting that person off, or any combination of those that fits the boundary you've set in place. So you have to start with how you're looking at how you're talking to yourself, right? That's the first step, your inner dialogue, what you believe you deserve. Next, it's setting those boundaries and standards and how you want to interact in your life and with other people. And then we get to habits. And these come in all shapes and sizes, right? Habits are as mundane as brushing your teeth every morning before you head out the door to scrolling social media for 3 hours every night when you really should be going to sleep, right? And habits can make or break your progress towards your goals. So you know best the habits holding you back, and it is up to you to make those necessary changes to get yourself on the right track to reaching those goals. Now, this is not to say that if you've had bad moments in time, that all is lost, okay? Just because you're like, all right, you make a goal to have a habit of not doom scrolling every night before bed, right? If you do end up doing it, that doesn't mean that all your progress is lost, okay? This is really just to address the things that we are consistently doing that are harming or holding us back and making the conscious decision and effort to make a change in these things. And it kind of starts with acknowledging them first, right? You have to be able to acknowledge what you are and aren't doing to help you succeed, to be able to even begin making changes to begin with. So just keep those in mind and make note of what those things are and what things that you might want to change or look at adjusting, or maybe even highlighting the really good habits that you already have that are helping you achieve those goals. So it's the good and the bad, right? So what brings you joy? This is your homing beacon to finding your life purpose, right? Our life purpose is found in the things that bring us joy, which sounds almost too simple, right? And I don't know, that's the funny thing with spirit. Spirit is often really just that simple, which is sometimes infuriating, but also, that's just kind of how it is until you start getting into the nitty-gritty, right? So it's humanity that really complicates it, making us believe that our purpose must meet a set standard of production to be viewed as a worthy thing to pursue, right? Especially in this capitalistic hellscape we live in, right? Everything has to be production, or, our worth is tied to how much money you bring in, or whatever the case is, right? So when did our joy stop being worthy of pursuit? And sit in that for a minute. Because you think back and you start getting into the grind of the everyday, and you wake up and you go to work and you make the money and you come home and you pay the bills. And then you look back and all of a sudden you're like, where is the joy in my life? When did that stop being worthy of pursuit? In the sense of, when did I stop making time for myself and the things that I love to do? Right? And there are ebbs and flows in our life and seasons where there are going to be times where we can't put that much time into the things that bring us joy, right? You have a new baby, and that's the whole thing that takes up your entire focus, right? But the point is to not get swallowed up by that and forget about yourself completely, right? It's to come back to yourself. When you connect inward and confirm with spirit, you can determine what is true for you. So we'll just take a few minutes right here to write down those moments where you feel your best. What are you doing? What makes it feel good to you? What are those things that bring you joy? So we'll just take about 5 minutes here so you can write those down and self-reflect. All right, you guys got about 1 more minute left, and then we'll wrap up and start moving on. Okay. So, as you guys are finishing up, how many of you found it like really difficult to think about what brought you joy for a minute there? Because I know I did. When I first did this exercise with myself, I was like, huh, what does bring me joy? Like I could bring up like some things, that were kind of small, but then I really started thinking about it and like all the things that I used to do that I loved doing, right? And, for example, I used to do a lot of digital photography and I loved the graphic designing aspect, like the editing process and like putting it in with certain, you know, other aspects and like creating posters or different pictures and just like being creative, right? And it kind of brought back of how it's like there's a lot of things that we do that bring us joy. And, we think, oh, well, that's just a hobby, I can't really dedicate time to that. And it's like, well, now as I'm doing things on my own and kind of doing my own business and offering services to people, I get to bring that back. And it's fun. And I actually just love doing it. And, maybe I don't always love having to, have to do it. But when I sit down and I do it, I love it. And it brings me joy. So it is working in tandem, with my life purpose and what I'm doing. And it's things like that where you can really start to incorporate these things that bring you joy and add them into your everyday, right? And what you want to do and what you want your life to look like. Is there anyone that wants to share, or does anyone have any questions? Okay. Oh, Melinda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This was not difficult at all. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. Things that bring me joy, hummingbirds and dragonflies, the ocean. Yes, Andrea, I'm that girl. Getting to guide other people to talk to their soul and feel loved by it. So amazing. The way people listen in awe of my husband, watching my kids' thought process and growth. And as you were talking, having multiple projects that are undone. So I get to choose which one I get to do.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And I don't know if you guys all noticed, but as Melinda was talking about these things that are bringing her joy, you can just see the way that it lights up her soul, right? How she is so happy and it's expressed on her face, and you can feel that energy, right? And those are the things that Spirit really wants us doing, wants us living in joy and appreciating, this human existence that can sometimes be not so great to appreciate, but it's part of the process, right? And we make it better by incorporating these aspects of joy and happiness. And it really kind of goes back to what are we here for, if not to be joyful and find the things that bring us happiness in it, right? So thank you for sharing, Melinda. Does anyone else have anything that they want to share or any questions? Okay, we'll move on. So, are you here for yourself? There is great achievement to be found in finding your life purpose within and for yourself. Not everyone is going to resonate with the call of helping others so directly, and so much can be gained and learned through these aspects for yourself. Exploration, simply living life and experiencing it. Lessons. Are you here to learn vital lessons to help you in your next life and soul progression? So, for example, how to be alone, learning to be alone, or learning to trust, just vital lessons for yourself that you're learning, right? Learning from others or gathering information. Observing without necessarily actively applying is a move in and of itself. And the human experience is vast in what knowledge can be obtained or experiences learned, right? Energy moves. So, how energy moves and how to be a creator. Learning to balance the spiritual with the human to really make it work for yourself. Some might correlate this to witchcraft or alchemic practices. You can also consider attunement to nature fitting into this category. The idea, though, is how you harness energy and create for yourself. Light worker, using and shining your light intentionally for yourself. So think of it as more of an internal focus. Others around you will still experience it. However, that might be the intent you wish to achieve, right? It's not necessarily doing it for the intent of others, for transmuting energy for others. It's shining and using your light for yourself in the situations that you need, and then others just might experience it as a byproduct, right? Does anyone have any questions on any of these or anyone feeling drawn to any of these aspects? Yes. Let me. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. My question would be like, and because it's funny, when I thought about what brings me joy, there are in between a lot of words. There are also the words exploring, learning, taking lessons in, creating,
Mhm.
and I consider myself also to be a light worker. So the question would be, is it possible like to feel drawn to all of it, like a mix of it?
Yes, yes. It is possible to be drawn to a mix of it and also kind of a mix of both for yourself and for others, right? So
Yes.
sometimes you can even get aspects of both. And on the next slide, we'll go into those ones as well. But yes, it doesn't have to be just one set thing or aspect because as Andrea was talking about yesterday, your life book, right, is giant. 600 pages plus. And so it can be a whole multitude of aspects and that can come and flow, like come and go in certain seasons of your life. So that's normal.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mary says in the chat, I'm drawn to energy movement. Learning stands out for me, says Charity. Caress. I was wondering about this. I'm more drawn to the internal side. I think I'm an indirect helper. And yeah, no, absolutely. You could really be an indirect helper. And, that could be done in so many different modalities, right? You just being yourself and showing up authentically can be such an experience, not just for yourself, but how other people experience that and get help from it, right? So those are all definitely valid. Exploration and learning. Absolutely. Absolutely. So then we go into the aspect of, are you here for others, right? Keep in mind, like we kind of mentioned before, it's perfectly acceptable to resonate with aspects from both. So mirror. Essentially, this is showing up in ways that inspires others to show up similarly, right? Antagonist. Causing feathers to be ruffled and to poke and prod others to look within themselves. For example, calling people out on their BS or holding people accountable to their actions. This can occur just by being your authentic self and shining your light. So I mentioned that on the other slide, and it kind of just depends on the intentionality of it, right? So it can kind of occur on both ends. Devil's advocate, understanding that though a person may be acting out of alignment, you can understand the why that provokes their actions, which allows you a better understanding of the healing, guidance, direction that person may need. And this is not the same as condoning, okay? So, in other words, it's being able to step outside of yourself, especially if you're the one affected, and seeing the other perspective. Black sheep, being the different and showing alternative paths for living and how beautiful and fulfilling it can be living outside of societal expectations. I'm sure a lot of us can resonate with that one. Reader, giving or facilitating messages to others from spirit. Healer, using messages from spirit to proactively incite others to begin their healing journey or facilitating guidance along their healing journey. This also includes energy healers like Reiki or other energy healing modalities. And then light worker, right? So we talked about it for the internal, for yourself, and now this is for the external, for others. So it's an external focus of using and shining your light for others intentionally. So proactively shining your light and transmuting the energies around you, right? Because that's what's best for the environment, for the situation, and not just necessarily best for you. So it really just is all about the intention here. Does anyone have any questions on any of these, or are you feeling drawn to any certain aspects of these? And I saw Kaylin in the chat. I think of myself as an editor more than a creator, but editing is a form of recreation. Yeah, I love that take too, Mary. That is awesome. Shauna, all of it for myself and others, all of the above. Devil's advocate, I like that. I'm a healer. Charity saying she's a devil's advocate. Yes, yes. A mix of all from both different situations, healer mostly. All of this for me. I had a friend who loved that I would give people the best reality checks until it was her turn. Yep. Linda, reader and healer, devil's advocate. Yep, for me, it's the concept of as above, so below. So like both sides of myself to others define and depend on each other. Absolutely. Yes. And that's really what I mean by like how it can really be a mix, right? And it kind of goes back to Susan's point of like not being pigeonholed, right? And I think that's super important, a super important aspect to highlight. You don't have to show up and be like, I'm a psychic and that is all I do, you know? Because you can have so many different aspects and, modalities in which you heal for others, for yourself. So it can really be a mixed bag, and all of them are applicable and valid. So now we go into self-worth. We all love this one, right? Understand that you are creator, God, source, universe, slumbering in a human body, desperate to awaken and experience this reality as you in this human form. This will always be a part of your purpose. And does anyone know what that means? This will always be a part of your purpose. It means that everyone, no matter your ultimate life purpose, the foundation of the human experience is to experience life from the human perspective. And why is that important? As we learn, shift, and grow, our experiences build the collective foundational knowledge base of what it means to be human, which in turn helps the collective truly understand the depth of power and creation each individual truly has. When we all begin to walk in our power and shine our light together, humanity would truly know no bounds. And this comes as a spiritual being in the human body. And I think, sometimes we get caught up in the idea of like needing to ascend, needing to be living on a different dimension. And, that's where it starts to get really outside of what you're here to do, and yeah, it sucks sometimes being here in this human meat suit, right? And some of these experiences we don't want to experience. And sometimes we feel like we can just, ascend and not have to deal with the humanity part, but it's vital that we do. So this requires action on your part. Results do not come in solitude alone. You must interact with the human system for your life purpose to continually unfold. There is a time and place for solar reflection, but ultimately you cannot move in your life purpose alone. So you being in this class wanting to learn is a testament to that, right? That's part of the action, right? Even just showing up and learning something new, that is part of action. And this means ultimately you cannot manifest your life purpose and the life you were meant to live from the confines of your home. You must be taking action and you must be out interacting in the world. Tammy says it takes a village, and it does. It takes coming together and community and working together, right? You can't fulfill these things behind a computer screen, cultivating a life on social media, right? That's not really truly living it and experiencing it. So it's important to make sure that you have a really healthy balance. You need to trust your instincts and intuition without fear and self-doubt holding you back. Ask spirit to help you understand and realize your instinct and intuition with clarity. And you must balance the unbalanced ego. So ego becomes unbalanced in fear, doubt, judgment, condemnation, and comparison, right? And you can utilize the ego sidebar to balance your ego. Andrea's been helping everyone go through that over the last couple of days. So for those of you who've been here, but if not, I'm sure we'll get into that more. But it's important to note that you will continually need to balance your ego throughout your journey of self-discovery, right? Sadly, it's not a one and done type of deal. If it was, wouldn't that be nice? But it's continual. As you grow and as you heal and as you come up against new things, you will have to continuously balance your ego, because your ego's job is to ask, are you sure? So by not answering or being unsure in your answer to this question invites the ego to become unbalanced. So it is equally important to note the antithesis to fear, doubt, judgment, condemnation, and comparison, which is curiosity, hope, acceptance, openness, self-love. Practicing these aspects can also give you a method of helping balance your ego in real time. So, for example, if you're feeling judgment, whether against yourself or another, you can change your perspective and to find the acceptance within yourself and who you are or the other person to quell the judgment. Does that make sense to everyone? So when you're, potentially judging either yourself like, oh man, I'm not good enough, I just can't make this work. And if you take a step back, connect in your heart space, shine your light, and find that acceptance, that also really helps recalibrate ego in addition with the ego sidebar, right? You're changing that perspective. It's no longer judgment, it's acceptance. Does anyone have any questions on these? Okay. So, how do you live your life purpose? One day at a time and one moment at a time. Give yourself space to pivot as things and people change, as you change. Understand this is not an overnight venture, and that even knowing your purpose doesn't mean that you now suddenly just get to live it, right? It means it takes time to build, habits to form, actions and changes to explore. It also means you need to give yourself the grace to understand that this shift can take time. And it doesn't mean that all is lost if you aren't living what you envisioned tomorrow. So remember the patience in that, right? Give yourself the grace and the patience. If anything, it should give you the motivation and excitement to realize you have the creative power to make things take shape in the form you have always wanted. So how does Spirit see you living your life purpose today? What about tomorrow? Take it in those small chunks. You have the big picture, you have the broad sense, you maybe have some fine details on what you want that to look like. So you can start by asking Spirit, how does Spirit see you living your life purpose today and tomorrow? And start by taking it a day at a time, right? This is where those actionable steps come into place. You have to start small, right? You start by building the blueprint, writing it down, seeing what you want it to look like, and then you start implementing it with Spirit one step at a time. So if the idea is, okay, well, I want to, incorporate, more hobbies, more projects in my life. How do I do that, Spirit? What project should I work on today? You know, what does it look like? How long should this take? Start with the small questions and see how it builds from there. And it also from the small and seemingly mundane parts, right? So asking Spirit every day, like you should start your day, and getting the guidance on choosing between things, right? So do not discount the small progress and taking it a step at the time. Be sure to take this in small chunks, like I said, because it's really easy to get overwhelmed and feeling paralyzed when you have this big idea and you really want to make it come to life tomorrow. And, there's a lot of steps. So you really have to take the time to incorporate it in. And sometimes those steps look like rest and recuperation. Sometimes that could be for a day or maybe a week, and you need to take a break and step back and relax and let your mind, body, and soul take the time to integrate with one another and essentially realign as you start incorporating these new things and new lessons in. So this paired with your check-ins with Spirit are the foundational tools you need to get you started to help realign and stay on your path of self-discovery and purpose. That being said, how is everyone feeling? Do you guys have any questions? Feeling good? Okay, integration is still work, not active. It's true. Integration is still work, just not active. Okay, so that's all I have on this. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for a minute and then, okay. Okay. So yeah, that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts or comments or anything on any of what we went over? Okay, awesome. Andrea?
Hi. Thank you so much, Felicia. Beautiful, beautiful as always. Always so thought-provoking, right? We're going to take a 15-minute break so everybody can get up and stretch, walk around, refill, use the facilities, whatever you need. And then when we come back, get ready to learn. Condolences if you chose to put makeup on today. I will see you in 15 minutes, my loves. Hi, welcome back. Okay, babies, we got work to do. I did warn you, the last day of any day with me is always going to be the hardest. Why? Because this is where we integrate everything we've learned and we start putting it to the test. We're really putting our money where our mouth is now. Start with your breath. Big, fast, full inhale, hold for a heartbeat or two. Super duper slow, slow, slow exhale. Today, we're going to be looking heavily at your tools and why we use them. I do have slides for you because they're pretty and I like them. And they break things up too, because we get a little monotonous. And we're like, okay, this is enough. So we have these beautiful tools that I've created with Spirit that we go through together. This is basically them. This is what we go through in the gift focus session. This is what I constantly pull back on. These are the cornerstones of your foundation with Spirit. So day one, we worked heavy on your foundation. These are the cornerstones to finish that foundational work, and you can build it however you want to. The breath is the one we just did. In no way, shape, or form should you ever have to change your breathing and your breathing style or how you breathe just to communicate with Spirit. It's right up there with that belief system that you have to get all zen to be able to communicate. Nah, baby, no. I want you to be able to communicate no matter what's going on. I want the kids to be screaming their head off, some other child that you don't recognize running through your house, pudding and mud everywhere, and your dog puking in the corner and your cat climbing the curtains. I want you to still be able to communicate in the midst of all that chaos of life. We are often taught to build bad habits when it comes to our spiritual practices. We're told to close our eyes. We are told to get all zen. We are told to clear our mind completely. You can't have any thoughts. You have to change your breathing. You have to change your posture. You have to do all these big stretches and all these big meditations. And you have to. I call bullshit. I do. Because I didn't have any of that when I was 9 years old talking to off-worlders. I didn't have any of that when I was in the middle of labor with my daughter, wondering like how this is really going to go and how she's doing and communicating with the being that was just about to enter her body on that first breath. I didn't know any of this. All I knew was that I was a human being, that I could communicate with Spirit, and I was using it. And that's all it really comes down to. So these cornerstones are going to help you solidify that in you and use your gifts fuller. So we have the breath, then we have the light. I walked you through the light very quickly, but now I'm going to walk you through it more intently. So we're going to rest and we're going to relax and we're going to listen. This is not a meditation, so feel free to keep your eyes open and be part of this. Energy flows no matter whether your eyes are open or closed. I get arguments all the time in gift focus sessions, all the time in classes. It's hard to not close my eyes. I know, but hard things are worth doing because you get to learn a whole lot about yourself. So big, deep breath to start, just like we did. Big, fast, full inhale. Hold for a heartbeat or two. And then a beautiful, soft, slow exhale. You want to revel in that exhale. You want to feel your face muscles relax, your back muscles relax. You want to feel like you are sinking into it. And also, we're going to have t-shirt appreciation today. My favorite horror movie. It's my favorite horror movie. Why? Because today's going to be hard. Be scared, but not really scared. It's not that scary of a movie, is it? I want you to set the intention that every inhale brings all of the pieces of you back to you. All of those tendrils of energy you have out to other people, places, things, ideas, situations, animals, all unhooking, retracting back to you easily, effortlessly, quickly. barely any effort from you required. And I know some of you are sitting here and saying, but I don't want to. I want to stay connected to this and that person or this or that animal. Baby, they got their own energy. You need yours. So pull back into you for a blessed few moments. And I further want you to set the intention that every exhale brings waves of relaxation from the top of your head just down your shoulders, knowing you're safe and protected here. So safe and so protected. It's okay for you to drop your natural boundaries, barriers, protections, wards, a little at a time with every exhale. Because even sometimes our best laid protections can actually block us from spirit. And this one here, it's going to turbocharge your connection without blocking you, without having you struggle, and will help you satisfy your light worker role, as well as feeling safe inside of yourself. It's a lot of boons. On that next inhale, I'd like you to drop into your heart center. Just bring all of your attention and your awareness down inside you to that very warm womb-like space in your chest. And I want you to just revel in it for a minute. Just sit in this space and see how it feels to you. Experience the energies of that heart space, all that free-flowing love, compassion, creative forces, and protections. Because love is protective, isn't it? And just feel it. And I want you to notice there was nothing you needed to do to come worthy or deserving for any of this. To this space, you already are. And it's giving it all to you freely. And while you're here, we're going to call to your highest self. Ask them to come close. Because this is the space your highest self and spirit actually work through, is that beautiful, warm, womb-like space inside. They work through your heart space. It's translated and understood in the head, but it is worked, and we come to connection with them through the heart space. And allow your highest self to come up for you, no matter how they do. Yes, it can be a visual, but it also can be a knowing, a feeling, an awareness, hearing, even just an intention set. And just let them come up for you naturally as they do for you. Don't force it. Don't try to push it. Just allow it. They are part of you. So if they've already entered this space with you, that's beautiful too. And I want you to bond with your highest self. Even if you're just sitting here saying, okay, I'm bonding with my highest self. It doesn't need to look like anything in particular. And I cannot stress enough that everyone's experience is different. So we have nothing to compare or contrast it to. We just experience it like it is. Lean in, clasp hands with. Go forehead to forehead with your highest self. We know that they're probably not going to talk a lot, and that's okay. But feel them. Feel the familiarity, but also the wisdom and the vastness of them. Bond in. Lean in. And then I want you to imagine stepping into that highest self-light energy, becoming one with your highest self, knowing that your bond can never, ever, ever be broken. It can either be listened to or not, recognized or not, realized or not. But we are doing the work. And say to your highest self, how would you have us shine out? Where would you have our light be and extend out to so that we are perfectly protected? What do you think we need? And let them do it for you. Let them show you. And just mark it. Just feel it and keep an eye on it. Nothing perfect. Just mark your experiences. Pay attention to how this feels for you, especially the feeling. Do you feel calmer, more relaxed? The opposite. Are there tingles anywhere on your body? Check to see how you're doing through this process. And when we're shining our light through the day, we are just stopping and saying, where is my light? You're getting an idea by extending out and checking front, sides, above your feet, above your head, below your feet, and behind you. You're checking just to check. And we pop back into the heart space. We show our highest selves where we feel we're shining out to and ask them, where would you have us be? Let them do this for you. It's a beautiful perspective. Oh, that's actually beautiful. I got the image of light coming from everywhere, like when Fiona and Shrek got married and she was supposed to transform but didn't. I used to see it as that movie Stardust, where she just started to glow, where Claire Danes started to glow. It used to look like that for me. That's what Spirit showed me when they first taught this one to me. Because I said, hey, I don't feel protected. I don't feel good in what people are trying to tell me to do, in bubbling techniques, in like the second skin, in the light from some outside source. It never felt right to me. So I was like, what can I do to protect myself? And they showed me this. They said, right there, that's what you can do. I said, cool, I like that. Can you help me with it? And then as I started teaching other people what I had learned from Spirit, I started learning this is a universal. I work in universals, things that work for everyone, no matter where you're at in your spiritual journey. We work it because you're never going to lose your highest self. You're always going to be part of this. Now, this is my favorite protection because it does not block you in any way, shape, or form from Spirit, but it also transmutes actively, something other techniques don't do, including bubbling. I will never be an advocate for bubbling. And I get a lot of pushback on that one because it is quite popular. But if you're just bouncing energies off, the universe sees that and feels that and gives you everything back on it. So why would we want that? Instead, when we transmute, we are literally taking things from a lower energy, putting them out as a higher energy, and the universe takes note. It activates the law of attraction, which says, oh, look at this person. They're actively shining out the love and light of their highest self. They've got a whole lot of good human-y energies coming out, nice and bright and high vibration and strong. They must want more on that line. They must want more of that. So it will give you more of that, more of the good stuff. This and one in particular has so many boons for you, and it is truly life-changing. It is one of those things when it is practiced, continually, it brings and breeds so much goodness into our lives. Now, I highly suggest 3 times a day, just checking, where is my light? Where does it need to be? Where does my highest self feels it needs to be? And we do that 3 times a day, just until it becomes a habit. Just until then. Once it's a habit, it'll pop into your head and it will remind you. You'll walk into a space and you personally will feel funky off. Not like the energies of the space are funky off. You will feel off. If that happens, it's probably going to pop in your head next. Where's my light? Oh, yeah, I got to check that. Okay, let me get out of my highest self's way and let them. Now, when we give this up to our highest self to do, we are giving them faith and we're honoring them with trust and respect. That goes a long way for your conversations. Do you remember our fantastic share from my amazingly talented artistic ways? I will remind you. So you have your highest self, you're an extension of your highest self. And if you are taking this tube of communication and saying, you know what, I'm going to add faith and love and trust and respect, and I'm honoring them with that. That means everything on this tube and attached to this tube, i.e. your highest self and your spirit guides, that's going to make your communication significantly easier and better with them. Remember, I don't do anything in small doses. It's always small amounts of things for huge benefits and gains. Next, so we have our breath, so we're anchored in. We have our light, so we're feeling really good and protected. And then we have our curiosity and our verifications. Your curiosity is going to drive your conversation with spirit. Your curiosity is what is going to help you the most in your conversations. And your verifications are going to give you solid footing. Tons and tons and tons of solid footing. These are your 4 tools for every day. These 4 tools will get you so far in your communications, but they are not meant to stay separate tools that are check, 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 and check. They are meant to be integrated with your daily communications as is. And they will help you significantly lean into your gifts and use them steadfast. We're going to go a little deeper into each one and what they do. First, we're going to look at that breath. The breath is all about balance. It anchors you in. Do you remember how on day 1, when we were building our foundations, I said, keep your feet on solid ground and your wits about you at all times. So you're recognizing what conversations you're initiating with spirit and where they're going to go. The breath is all about balance. Head in the clouds with spirit, feet on solid ground. Balance. It also perks up and balances the ego, getting that unbalanced ego evolved, calm, under control, understanding that we don't need it right now. We don't need to worry about whether that rustling in the trees is a bunny or a tiger or a goat or a bird of prey coming to mess with us or not. It also gets the brain understanding that this is a conscious conversation. Remember, best friend method from day 1. Conscious conversation. We are willingly entering into these conversations. We want to be here. We want to be part of it. And once the brain understands that, it stops trying to put in so many answers for spirit. It lets spirit talk. Think about the energies of having a conversation. When you have a conversation, You're not trying to put in the words for them. You're waiting to hear what they have to say. Your spiritual communications should follow the same format. Pay attention to this next time you're in a conversation with someone, especially if you're in a conversation with a group of friends. You talk to one and you say, oh, this is what's going on in my life. And they say, oh, that's great. And you say, what's going on in your life? And they start telling you, and you start thinking as you're listening to them tell you about scenarios that you've been in. How do you relate into this? How are you a good friend in this? Do they need you to support them? Do you not agree with what they're doing? That's what the brain should be doing, analyzing the information coming in and seeing how you relate to it and what you can do in it, not putting you into a position where it's like, am I right or wrong? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Or, well, that's just obvious. And I'm just telling myself what I want to hear. Calm down, brain. That's not what we're doing. Do I have any questions thus far? I'm about to start picking up the pace and throwing even more at you. So if you have any now, put them into the chat. I want you through this process as we continue going through the day, by the way, to remember your ego sidebar. It will come in exceedingly handy. Remember, treat your ego like it's a small child having a hard time. Go to spirit for the facts. What do they think about it? And then go back to the ego. Hey, spirit said. I love technology. I don't just keep forgetting to hit which buttons and which buttons I'm looking to hit next. It's fine. Now I want to look at your curiosities for a bit. This is to get you started. We discussed this in the gift focus session, and I show you how to use them. With your curiosities, you want to be asking smaller questions. Remember, smaller questions fit down your tube of communication easier. For the best friend method, did that mean we can swear with spirit without it being disrespectful? Yes, absolutely you can. 100%. Do you know how many times mine say to me, stop being a bitch? You're being a closed off bitch. Knock it off. You don't need to protect yourself right now. They will remind me just like that. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. That is fair. You're right. They will also say to me, the hell are you doing? Or what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I'm your responsibility. You're supposed to guide me. I don't know. I'm the one with amnesia here. I mean, granted, I don't have as much as some people, but I still got it and I had to find my way. I'm your job. I'm your problem. You tell me. Sass, sarcasm, swearing, perfectly fine. Absolutely perfectly fine. Enjoy the conversation as you would a best friend. You wouldn't be, down on your knees begging your best friend to see you as worthy just to have the conversation. You would meet them as equals. That's what we need. That's what helps the most. Oh, perfect. I'm so happy. The bump on the head. Fantastic. And then lastly, we're going to go over your verifications. With verifications, we are asking a set amount of questions that help us feel safe and secure in what we read. In the gift focus session, I have 3 that I use, but that's for the gift focus session when I can heavily monitor you and make sure that you know what you're doing. I do go over it in that Empower Your Purpose program too. So if you bought that package, it's in there. When we go over our verifications, they are not to be used ad nauseum. They are to be used when you are so not sure that you can feel yourself starting to close up really tight and not be able to communicate with spirit. When you're starting to get more silences, when you're starting to get to a point of intense frustration. You are supposed to go out on a limb with talking to them. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable at first. You're learning something new. Of course it is. It's supposed to be a little nerve-wracking. You're not supposed to be sure at first. And that's okay. That is absolutely normal. When we use our verifications, however you use them, my favorite is just to say, right? I look at my spirit guides no matter what I'm doing. I verify with my spirit guides. But again, at 444, I have cultivated a relationship with them. So they're the ones that I trust the most. I trust all of spirit, absolutely. But when it comes to like the fine detail stuff, I've already done the work with them on what I'm looking for and what we're doing here. So I go to them first, and I will very often just go, right? And they know. If I'm not, they're going to fix it. If I am, they're just going to nod at me or be like, shoo, go on, let's go. Every once in a while I get that one, and that one is just always lovely. Like, I feel like I'm being pushed out like a cat, like, scat, get out of here. I'm like, okay, fine, we're fine. Keep moving along. See what yours say to you if you decide to go along that path. See how they treat you. They won't treat you poorly. They do think they're funny. And sarcasm is a way of life among spirits. So don't be surprised. They really do like jokes. Like we said before, jokes and getting you to laugh and open up means you raise your consciousness, and it's easier for you to communicate with them. When you go through with your verifications, like I said, you must trust yourself, but you must trust spirit. I never, ever, ever verify over and over and over again for people in the gift focus session or when I'm teaching them how to use their gifts. I let them dangle a little bit, and then I teach them how to verify with spirit. When and if you ever get to a point where you want to use your gifts to help other people, you cannot rely on the other people to verify for you. I know a good amount of people here who want to go off and be readers and healers. Beautiful, beautiful goal. But I don't want you developing that bad habit of only getting the answers from the person you're working with. People lie to themselves, to you. They will withhold, and not on purpose. It's just because they don't feel safe. And you can do everything you can to help them feel safe, to create a beautiful environment, and they don't feel safe because it's something in them. That's okay. It's not really your business or your concern. Your concern is your side of things. So I don't want anybody here to get comfortable and reliant on verifying with the person in front of you or people. It's better, and it's okay to just say to spirit, how am I doing so far? I got this okay? So I want you to get in the habit today of all over the remainder of our conversations of just saying to them, how am I doing so far? And just get a little verification. It'll feel like your feet have just pushed into solid ground. Like your knees have bent a little bit, your hips have bent, and you're like, okay, I am here. I got this. It helps you build that confidence, clarity, and security that will help you continue your practice, as is my job to help you with. I want you to remember what your communications with spirit used to be like. This is the old you before the summit. This was, you start with a question, you get crickets, silence, something doesn't make sense, it's frustrating. And then you do get frustrated. And then you get further crickets. And then your ego starts popping up. Maybe they don't want to talk to me. I don't have anything. I got nothing. Maybe they're not there for me. Start to second guess ourselves. And then we give up. Sometimes we don't give up. Sometimes we don't give up at all. And we just keep spinning right around here. Ego, further crickets, ego, further crickets, ego, further crickets. And then we give up and walk away. And then we come back and try again because we know this is for us, but what do? Your new way of communication is far cleaner. Start the conversation, start talking. This is where you take your breath and your light, start the conversation. Let spirit answer. Here's your curiosities right here. When you're engaging in the conversation, here's your curiosities. Letting spirit answer. And then when we're done with the conversation, then close with a verification of some kind. I get that all right? Or if you're having a bigger conversation with them, use it as like video game checkpoints. You're about 5 minutes in. Hey, how am I doing so far? You got everything all right? Let them tell you and enjoy your time with them. With your verifications, this is what I want you to focus on. They are for building confidence. These are your points of clarity. This is where you get the security. And this is where you don't get lost. I never, ever, ever recommend someone telling spirit, can you clarify that for me? Without the work of what clarifying it looks like. Because sometimes spirit just takes that as, say it again louder and add technicolor. And we sit there going, I didn't get it the first time. I don't get it now just because it happens to be louder. We want to make sure that we are asking appropriate questions to make sure that we have it clearly. So if something isn't clear, stop right away and say to spirit, I'm going to check this with you because I don't feel like I have the clarity I would like to have with this because of X, Y, Z. The same way as you would with a best friend. You would stop and say to them, I don't get it. And if your best friend was like, it's this, and they said it again the same way, you'd be like, how is that helpful? You would have some kind of a retort for your best friend and say, thank you for saying it again. Now that you said it twice in the exact same way, I definitely get it. Awesome. Yeah, there's no confusion at all. Throw the sarcasm back at them. They're going to love it. But also, let's remember, you're teaching spirit your language. They're trying to teach you their language. And we want to make sure it's a slow integration. We don't need it to be like this or like this, where we're just barely catching each other, or worse, like this, where we're missing each other completely. It's just exactly that. Katie, just fold it in from Schitt's Creek. Fantastic. That was one of my favorite scenes ever. But we want to make sure we are fully integrating as we can slowly. So we're going to practice this a little bit, as with all things. Use your light first with your breath. Just double check. Where is it? I want you to check front, sides, above your head, below your feet, behind you. Where do you feel like your light is at? And again, it's not about perfection. Hop into your heart space and tell your highest self, this is where I feel like we are currently radiating and shining out to. Where would you have us be? And we're going to start the conversation. You know what? We're going to go with something a little wackadoodle just for fun. What do they think about indoor plants? Send this one to spirit as a whole this time around. What do they think about indoor plants? And then I want you to use your curiosities. Use that who, what, where, when, why, and how. And if you're not sure, quick verification. This is how you make your conversations with them better. This is where you take your normal humdrum everyday communications with spirit and make it significantly stronger. This is where you get to see how your communications are going too. You get to see how strong you are. And then when you're done the conversation, verify, get that solid footing. And then we're going to repeat this whole exercise with your spirit guides. I love this mindset. I need 10,000 more. Strange to bring plants inside to breathe better. Just go outside. Much more beneficial. It has merit. Laughter and then puzzled. Why would you want a plant inside when you can just go outside? Told me to hug a tree. The verification part, just use a simple one. Do I have this all right? And let's keep it real simple. I love them and find it unfortunate. Like, oh no, you got the same answer as Jeff. Mine say, haha, all yours are fake. No. Mine told me I don't have a very good track record with having plants. And here's where you can use your gifts too. For those of you who are plant killers, you can stop and say, what does this plant need? And you can ask spirit that. Do I have it in the right space in the house for what it actually needs? You can start using your empathic side with that plant, and you can use your deeper knowledge pieces with just the psychic side, or you can go to your mediumship side and talk to your spirit guides or entourage directly. You can ask somebody in your entourage who's phenomenal with plants to come up and help you with it. Dear gods of plant life in my entourage, please come up and help me to save this young chlorophyllic life. Have fun with it. There's no reason to take it so seriously. There's a reason I have laugh lines and not frown lines. Now we're, like I said, we're going to ask spirit guides the same thing. What do spirit guides think about indoor plants? Make sure you're using your curiosities. Close with your verification. All right, I'm going to put it out there, Kaylin. Succulents are hard. I don't care what anybody said. Succulents are significantly harder than they make them out to be. I like the big leafy ones. Those tend to do the best with me and in my house. Like a peace lily. Things have been going strong for like 5 years now. She's doing great. Some things you can't avoid though, like when my child, who was then 7, decided to take scissors to my aloe. Yep. He just wanted to trim it for me. Bye-bye, aloe. Got one tiny little one left. I'm like, nobody touches this plant. It is protected. Don't touch it. Now I want you to do the same thing with your entourage, but I want you to start making note on, like, we're going to dive a little bit more into your mediumship. Who's coming up to answer? Is it a non-corporeal being? Is it an off-worlder? Is it someone who's more human? Is it more animal? Who came up? I had a spirit say they like my aloe. I responded, feel free to take care of it. I need it to be big. I have a spirit who has been hanging out around the house, a male. He came in just for like a day or two. And he found somehow one of the cat bowls that I didn't know where this bowl had gone off to. I just assumed it was way underneath my bed. Suddenly appeared in a nice, neat row next to my other cat bowls. Was not there in the morning, suddenly there in the afternoon. My kids were at school and they're not going under my bed to go find a cat bowl. They don't care. And it was me home alone all day. So I was working and it was like, huh, you could at least pick up a vacuum. You're gonna be finding cat bowls and putting them away. Feel free to dust, my guy. There's laundry that needs to be folded and put away. Go right ahead. Feel free to joke around with him. He definitely threw his head back and laughed and just kept walking through my house when he said it. And I was like, well, okay, fair enough. You can convince the mice to stay in the woods next to the house and not come in the house. That'd be fantastic. Listen, I live in the woods. We're not having mice. This is it. How's your communications going? Are you noticing the differences between the entourage, spirit guides, spirit as a whole? Are you seeing the differences in the feeling of them, the direction you're looking in, the information and the quality of it that you're getting? See, and I like this from Amanda. I still can't tell who I'm talking to, but I can feel the difference. Feeling the difference is the gateway drug to getting you to knowing who you're talking to. You're going to see I talk like that all the time. I'm an 80s child. All we talked about was gateway drugs. I really thought I was going to be faced with a lot more of them as an adult at this point, as well as being able to need to use stop, drop, and roll. I really thought that was going to come up far more than it ever has. So, feeling the differences gets you to the next point. Oh, I saw off-worlders. Off-worlders think indoor plants are a funny idea. I know. Do you know how many of my off-worlders are like, but you could put it in the ground? And I'm like, I know I could. But what if I put it like, right, Felicia? What if I put the ground, like, I always have it in my head to like get some kind of a tub system in here and then sink it into the ground and have plants like almost growing out of the ground because I have a basement. I can't do that. And they're like, what are you doing? Just, they gotta go outside. I'm like, yeah, but they don't always just go outside. They go inside too. They're like, I've had them actually give up on me and go, as long as you're happy. It's just, I felt it like they just look at each other as long as you're happy, because I use my curiosity so much that I have intense conversations with them. And like, we'll get into some heated debates where I'm like, okay, I understand your point, but like, I'm boots on the ground here in human life. And you're telling me how to live, but you don't know what to do because you've never had a body. So I don't think I need to listen to you. And I can feel them go, feel free to have these conversations. You don't need to come at them from this perfect perspective where you're saying, hey, dear spirit, dear spirit, dear spirit, over and over again. They know. They already know what you're thinking and what you're saying. They don't always know how it applies because how can they? They haven't had these lives. They can only experience it through you and your retelling of it when you incorporate back in with your highest self and put it into the Akashic records. It's the difference between watching a movie and being in the movie. So it's okay for you to throw it around every once in a while. Why not? Let's have fun. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to join them on the other side and go, whoops, my bad. We're fine. Everything is fine. We are going to do some more intense work here on stepping into your power very soon. I want you guys to be prepared for this. I don't want to make you nervous and scared, but this is going to dive into some deep recesses of you. I love this question. What about bad karma in being disrespectful? So let's ask our spirit guides. Is there such thing as bad karma for being disrespectful to spirit? And is it really disrespectful? What do we think? You guys feel free to do the work. Ask your spirit guides, ask spirit as a whole. See what they say. And let's put it in the chat. Why not? Fast, no. Nope. No. No, we're good. No. Nothing against the person who put that into the chat at all. Not even a little bit. These are perpetual beliefs, and we get scared. And when we get scared, we are closing our tube. And when your tube closes, you can't get what spirit is really trying to tell you. You'll only get tiny bits. You're not going to get the whole thing as if it was open. We do have this perpetual belief system that we need to be on our knees. We need to bend the knee to spirit. But we are a spiritual being in a human body. And if we really remember that part, we are a spiritual being in a human body. We are spirit. We're not separate and different from them. Why would I bend a knee to myself? Why would I bow down to another being that's exactly like me? That's self-depreciating. It comes from a lot of religious beliefs, actually, especially in the Catholic Church, that you're not good enough as you are. You come in here as a sinner. You come in here as a problem. And through your whole life, you're going to try not to be a problem. And you're going to try to fix this. Where spirit tells you, and if you asked spirit right now, what's my worth? What's my value to you? Am I below you? What's their answer? I am you. No, Holly, it's not. We just got to follow along, love. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Holly, were you here day 1 as well and day 2? Because we've been building on it. I'm not part of the problem. I am the whole problem. I say that daily. They said we're one big team. Nobody's going to hell. You know, the closest thing we're ever going to get to hell is being a human cut off from spirit and not knowing who we are right here. That's the closest we're going to get. Hell is the separation of us from our natural state of being, separation from our family. Oh, that's okay, Holly. Just keep following along the best you can. None of this is graded, I promise. The next thing we're going to go into is stepping into our power truthfully, wholly and fully. We are going to do this to take ourselves to the next level. So this means using your gifts, however they're coming up for you. Remember, don't pigeonhole yourself. Images, hearing, feeling, knowing any kind of experience is valid, but you want to trust the first thing. Secondary and tertiary thoughts are more likely to be your human brain jumping up and trying to add meaning to it. And that's okay. We don't want to stop our brain, but we do want to just keep trying this a little further. And for those of you who feel like you're out of your depth, I promise you, you are not. Thank you so much, Felisha. Join the Discord, absolutely. And we want to help you more and more and more. Let's take a break first. Please take about 15 minutes. We'll give you 15 minutes because, like I said, when we come back into this, this is going to get intense. And I want you to just breathe, feel free, stay hydrated, know that you're all right. Okay? I'll see you in 15 minutes. Welcome back from your break. I love how supportive you guys are being, by the way, in the chat. This is the kind of support you can expect when you join the Discord. And I'm noticing the people who are in the Discord are publicizing the Discord too and saying, no, join the Discord. We can help you. We want to help you. Exactly, Felisha. It is all about the support. We help and support each other because there's no point in not. One of the best things about the Discord is no one ever gatekeeps. There's always someone who will reach out and be like, hey, you good? I saw your post. What can I help you with? Nobody's like, hey, go ahead and DM me. Everyone there just hosts and helps each other. Okay, my loves. Ready? Are we ready? We are going to start with an intense conversation with your spirit guides. I highly suggest you write down what they're telling you because we can forget and we can skew the message so easily and so quickly. So, isolate your spirit guides. Remember, they are attached to your highest self line. There's only 2 of them. And we want to remind ourselves that we're only talking to them. And we just say, hey, spirit guides, can it just be you and me for a minute? And we're going to start the conversation and let them know that we're trying to take ourselves to the next level. And we are trying to step into our power as people. Our true power. Not false power that comes from the outside in. Our true power. Our true path. The one that's lit up all sunshiny and golden. Big deep breath. Spirit guides. Ask them to walk you through just either snippets or an entire day. It may turn into like years and snippets of years of you living your highest path here as a human being. What would that look like? Who are the people you would help? How would you help yourself? What does your routine look like when you wake up? Through the day? When you're going to sleep? Take a good 5 minutes here and let them show you. Take your time. Get into the details. Let's just finish up the conversation there. Now, how many of you were surprised by what they said? And how many of you were like, yeah, I'm actively avoiding that? Oh, I love the very surprised. We like that. Something new. Surprised. Oof. I like the wow after the surprised. Surprised, confused. Confused can be part of it. Like, really? That's not where I saw me going. Where would you have me go? How do we get there? And that's where we're going to get stuck, isn't it? How do we get there? Got to drop the fear of doing it wrong. We want to make sure that we're not getting so stuck on the how we get there that we miss living, that we miss being human. Because if we get stuck on the how is going to tell you you're not there yet, and it's going to activate that unbalanced ego. And you're going to sit there saying, well, I don't feel safe to do this unless I know exactly how I'm supposed to do it. That is not how life works. Excuse me. Allergies, excuse me. As we move through this, I want you to let go of the call of how. How can be very, very, very alluring. Instead, what we want to ask is, well, what are my next steps to get there just today? How do I just get there today? So let's practice that next. What can you do today? And remember, the first thing that pops up is what you want to go with. You don't need to worry about making it huge. Just what are your steps today? And if you feel comfortable sharing them in the chat. Oh, these are beautiful. Find your joy, just something that brings you joy. Get outside. Trust just for today. Today, just trust. Get more familiar and meditate. They're celebrating. They're like, no, we're good. We're not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. We're just gonna stay right here. We're good. That's fair. Oh, yep. Understood. Understandable completely. Oh, you're healing superwoman. Find life again. And remember, you just want to go with what comes up first. What do you feel first? What pops in your head first? This is not meant to be perfect, but this is meant to have you step into your power. So we're going to get even deeper. Let's say you're in a conflict. You had a coworker, a neighbor, a sibling, a friend of me. You just butt heads, can't stand each other, don't agree on anything. How would your spirit guides have you handle the situation with them, with people you don't get along with well? See the varied answers in the chat always crack me up. Some of them, walk away. Some of them, remember that they are not as evolved as you. Let them do whatever they want. Mine immediately said love, and it made me curl my upper lip. I know. I've heard that one before. Love everyone equally. And I'm like, I'm not saying no. I'm saying I'm a work in progress. Don't take their energy in. Stand up and speak up. Don't engage. It depends on who it is, right? But now your internal guidance system, your spirit guides, are able to help you with this. They're able to help you move forward with it. I always ask mine says empathy, and then I pouted. Okay, understandable. Oh, these are fantastic. I hope you guys are seeing these in the chat and you're being encouraged by each other. And I mean, this is what happens when we pull together as a community. We start working and supporting and loving on each other just naturally. All the compassion. I love Karen's. They're saying, yes, Andrea. Or Karen. That's awesome. I love when they use your own name too. They're like, you, Andrea, listen to them. I'm like, I'm doing it. Promise. I'm doing it. What happens for manifestation now? How do they want you to manifest your life? What's best practices that they would have you use as and for manifestation? When we look at the manifestation piece too, look at how you're currently living and how they would have you manifest something new and what they would have you manifest. You want to lightly and non-judgmentally just look at how you're living now and look at how they want you to live. And with manifestation, we're all manifesting our lives all the time, every day. Everything we believe, every choice we make, whatever you decide, you're right. If you say your spiritual gifts are really hard, guess what? You're right. If you say that they're really easy, guess what? You're right. Whatever you decide is what you're manifesting because reality shifts to you. Master manifestors just do it on purpose. They're aware that they're getting in their own way. They're aware that they're manifesting things they don't want, so they change it. So that's what we really want to look at with this conversation with your spirit guides of manifestation. Are you manifesting things you actually don't want and are not on your highest path? And I want you to, as we're writing things down, come up with three things you are currently manifesting in your life with the belief systems and values you hold, with the rules you've created for life that your spirit guides bring up and say, these are not working. And let your spirit guides work with you on this one. Just come up with three. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to come up with three. Yes, I can repeat the question. We are talking to our spirit guides because we were just coming off of manifestation. Now, we all know we are manifesting all the time. Are you currently manifesting things that are not in your highest path? And what are 3 things, either from your belief systems, your values, or the rules you're creating for your life, that your spirit guides want you to get rid of and stop manifesting? What do they think we need to let go of? So we're going to start naming those beliefs, and I want you to write them down because we're going to be doing a lot of work on those 3 next. Now, for those starting to write in the chat too, and then are writing these down, limit yourself, doubt self, and eliminate crazy. Fear, doubt, insecurity. When we're looking at those things, what is it about those? Like, what's the belief system that's held in it? Like, what are you actually afraid of? What are you doubtful for? What is the insecurity telling you? We want to dive just a tiny bit deeper into this. And trust me, you're going to need it. What is the story it tells you? When I did this exercise, my fear was telling me that I was not worthy enough, especially to be seen on camera, that I was too overweight, I was too old, I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't interesting enough, I didn't have enough value to bring to people, and that I needed to carefully curate my image so that I was only showing people what they would find admirable. So when I first did these exercises, that was a big one. That was the one that held me back the most. And that's what we want to look at. Of these 3 belief systems and the stories they tell you, which one holds you back the most? Which is the biggest one in your life? What Robin put in the chat is so true. And I want you guys to hear this. I only got 2 answers to manifesting wrong things, but they were detailed and hurtful and true. This is not cushy. This is intense. But just keep going. What is the story that the biggest one that holds you back tells you? Let's expand on it a little bit. So we've identified the biggest one. What's the story it tells you? Now, do you have it? Do you have everything together for that big belief that's holding you back and the story it tells you? The one your spirit guides have said, we need to get rid of this. I want everybody to sit back and, if you can, close your eyes. Take a big breath. And I want you to start by envisioning that belief system and how it's currently affecting your life. I want you to look at the past. How long has this been affecting you? How long has it been prevalent? How does it affect the present? And I want you to make this real for yourself. Like you're living it now. Because you are. Get the details. And sit in it. And now I'd like you to fast forward to a year from now. But you haven't done anything to change that belief system, that fear. That thing holding you back is still there, just as strong as it is today. What does that year look like? What do you look like? What have you missed out on? What have you not been able to accomplish? How many people have been affected by this? And in what way? Remember, sit with it. You're going to want to kick out of this. And you're really going to want to kick out of this soon. But sit in it. This is for your healing. Stay focused. Don't break your train of thought. It's gonna hurt. But I promise you, I will never drag you down without lifting you up higher than I originally brought you. Because now I want you to take a deep breath. We're going 5 years in the future. It's now 5 years from now. And your fear has not gone anywhere. That insecurity is still there, loud as ever. You've done nothing to change it. Maybe you've told yourself you will here and there, but you never followed through. What's your day like? What's your life like? Look around yourself. How are you living? Remember that fear didn't go anywhere. It's still there. It's still just as strong, and sit in it. You are going to want to kick out of this one. How many people have you not helped because you were too afraid or you had too much self-doubt and this belief system got in the way? How many people around you suffered because you wouldn't get past this? Because you wouldn't stop manifesting this, because you wouldn't let this go. Look at them. Let their faces show up for you. How did you affect them? And I want you to feel how much you've let yourself down. Take another deep breath, because we're now going 10 years in the future and nothing has changed. That fear is still right there. Yeah, you've told yourself, I'll get past it. I'll do it. Eventually I will. But we're 10 years later and you have not. Look around yourself. What does your home look like? How does this affect your loved ones, your family, your friends, your community, your pets? Having never fully stepped out of this. Feel how uncomfortable that is. Sit in it. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna want to kick away, but don't, not yet. Because now we're going 20 years in the future. It is 20 years from now, and you have not done a damn thing to remove this fear and this doubt that your insecurities are just as strong, if not stronger, because they know damn well you're not going to do anything about it. You would have by now. Look how many people you've let down. Look how many people didn't get the benefit of you because you held back. Look how you feel about yourself. Are you proud of you here? And let yourself feel this, truly feel this. I know it's going to hurt. I know I'm not your best friend for this right now, and I don't care. We need this. Have you gotten everything you need from this exercise, or do we need to go 30 years in the future? Have you really faced this now? And just how much it's hurting you? which is why your spirit guides push on it so much, which is why they say we have to let this one go? Do we see the seriousness of this, or do we need to go 30 years in the future? Okay, I see the shaking head. So big, deep breath. Come back to now. And we're going to start writing. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. What's your action plan with your spirit guides of letting go of this now so that future does not come to pass? What are you going to do about it now? How are you going to step into your power and make sure that never comes to pass? I'm going to give you a solid 10 minutes to just write this out and enjoy your time with it. Remember your power, because you're not 20 years in the future. You're now, and you have control. You're about 4 minutes into the exercise, so make sure you're just diving in and letting yourself be free with this writing to really explore it. Wave a magic wand, but just remember, you don't want that future to come to pass. So what do you need to do? Ask your spirit guides, go to your entourage, go to spirit as a whole if you need inspiration. There's about 2 minutes left, so let's just wrap up and finalize any final details. Remember, the more detailed you can get with this, the more you're going to get out of it. And if you're stuck, we can always say to your spirit guides, anything else? Anything I'm missing? I got all the parts. When I first did this exercise, I saw me holding back significantly, just so strongly holding back from everything, from my power, not stepping into it on purpose, making myself smaller so other people were comfortable. I saw me being ashamed of my body and not wanting to be in front of a camera ever. And when I got to 20 years in the future, I would have been 63. And as I looked around, I lived in a hovel. I had all this knowledge inside of me. And I looked like a crazy person because I kept putting it into notebooks instead of actually writing it in a book. And I never wrote my book because I was too afraid of being interviewed and being on camera and looking as my body looks. I was so ashamed when I did this exercise of who I was. When I did this, the hardest part for me was not just how I felt in myself, it was how I let my son down. My youngest, who's youngest by a good 10 years. Watching how I let him down because he was sitting there right next to me, just in a hovel, dirty home, not taken care of. He never lived his life because I was too afraid. And that was the piece that broke me. That was where the floodgates opened and I started finally crying and letting this in. It's okay if you didn't cry through this exercise, but if you repeat it in the future, make sure you do. Because that deep feeling inside of you, those emotions finally leaving and being expressed, makes this all the stronger and helps you see how much you are holding yourself back. Since then, I do not hold myself back. I am who I am. I say what I say, and you can take it or leave it. I'm not worried about it. Since I have stepped into this, I have started manifesting the summit. I manifested the self-paced programs. I leaned in to knowing my value and my worth and being able to give that to even more people. When you know your value and your worth, you know what fills your cup. And when your cup is filled with the good stuff, you can give everyone else the overflow and they get the good overflow. Imagine if everybody did that all over the planet, giving each other the good overflow. It starts with us. We don't need everybody to do it all at once. It starts here with us. So, how are you going to give yourselves the good overflow today? How are you going to fill your cup today with the good stuff? And what fills it? Go to your spirit guides. I'll give you about 5 minutes on this one. Feel free to go to your entourage too, spirit as a whole. What fills your cup with premium nectar of the gods? We're about halfway through the time. So make sure you're doubling down. Really making this real for yourself. Actionable steps. How do we get from point A to point B? And watch out for that ego trying to tell you the story of how you can't get there. Remember your ego sidebar. When I did this exercise, what I saw was me expanding and helping more and more and more people. That the more I helped, the more I got out of my own way, the less hold it had on me, and the more I was able to live my purpose, to not hold myself back, to make sure I wasn't manifesting what I didn't want. Big deep breath, everyone. Let's go to your spirit guides for a second. How do they feel about this work? Do they think you can do it? Do they believe in you? I love these in the chat. Abso-freaking-lutely. Hell yeah. Cheering, duh. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. They sure do. Oh, one of your guides yelled at you. Welcome to my world. Welcome. It's fun here. We have snacks and obviously good, comfortable blankets because we all need all the comfort we can get because our guides get down to business. How are you feeling? Do you feel like you can do it? How about spirit as a whole? How do they feel? We love when they have incredible tips as well. We love when they're able to help. And now that group of the entourage too. Let's swap over there. How's that group in the entourage feel about it all? Partying. Screaming, shouting, yes, finally. Fucking finally, she's doing something about time. Oh, the about time one always sends me. I'm like, you don't need to be rude. I got there, didn't I? It was all in divine timing. I've thrown that one back at them again. It was all divine timing, guys. They rolled their eyes at me. I expected nothing less. I want everyone to take a moment to just close your eyes for a second and put your hand on your heart and then the other one on your stomach, right around your solar plexus. And I want you to lock this in. Love yourself. Be proud of you. And lock this in. You're going to do this for yourself. You're not going to go backwards. You're going to love the hell out of yourself every single day. And in doing so, you are going to give the most amazing love to others. You are a bright, shining beacon for this world. You're an amazing entity that we cannot do without. You encourage people to shine their own light. You show them how great it can be. You teach them through loving yourself and living in spirit, living this life. I am so proud of every single one of you. I know this summit was not easy, and I know it was a lot. But look at you. You are not the same person who came into this on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, are you? You're different, glowier, shinier, and it looks damn good on you. We're going to end here because I've put you through enough work and you've done amazing things. But I want you to know that I'm here for you. Just send me an email. You can easily send right through my website. I hope to see you again, especially next year when we do this all over again. I hope to see you in a class. I hope to see you in a gift focus session, in my school, in my retreats. I hope to see you in Discord. I hope to see you again. But for today, take some much needed rest. You earned it. I am so proud of every single one of you, and I'm so happy I got this time to spend with you. I am honored by your presence. You all have a beautiful, wonderful, restful remainder of your day. Take care, be well, and I'll see you soon.